Alright, hello world, and we're back with another WWDC watch along video. This time it's about the session writing for interfaces. So a user experience UX kind of session, which I always like that Apple is doing these kinds of things, doing design sessions. All the sessions starting with design for are design sessions that really help improve your app's design. And this one specifically is about writing for interfaces, so basically about wording and text. And this is a really interesting topic because I think also here you can make many mistakes and it's very easy to improve your text. Like it's not complicated to improve, like it's not complicated like making a rewrite of a UI or something like that, or your navigation. Those things are really complicated. I'm not saying that this is easy. This is still a lot of work to really think about these things, but at least the changing part is relatively easy, but the research and thinking about it part is interesting. And I hope we're going to learn a few things here in this video. So as always, the watch along works like this. If you want to watch alongside me, make sure to prepare a second device where you have this video in the developer app. That's the easiest way to find it. And then I'm going to count down from 3 and we can click play together, and you can watch alongside me and see how I'm creating notes while watching. Or you can just skip to the end of the video and just watch my summary going through the notes if that's what you prefer. And make sure to like in any case. All right, I think we are ready. So I'll be just pausing my music here and we can count down from 3, 2, 1, play. Hi Kaylee, hi Jennifer. All right, that was a session about writing for interfaces. And there were a lot of things actually. I think the lens is written like this. There were a lot of things they mentioned, and I'm not going to repeat everything, but in general, I would say it was about, I think the two things that bring it to the point is, one, make writing an early part of your design process, not something you fill in later. And this also makes clear that writing is important, that it's important how you write. And they went on to give us a framework, basically how you can analyze your writing and how can you think of your writing to improve it. And yeah, they call it PACE because it's an acronym for purpose, anticipation, context, and empathy. And yeah, you can go through this document if you're interested in every point. But anticipation, it's basically about, I don't know, let's start with purpose. It's basically about making sure that each screen, every element, every thing you design always have a clear purpose, that it's always clear what this is about. What do you want the user to do here? What you expect them to do? It should always be clear. And there are tips for that, how to get that done. For example, leave out what basically you don't need to show. Don't show too much. Leave it out and keep it simple. And yeah, that's basically purpose. Also make sure your information hierarchy is clear. So the thing that's most important should be catching your eye first. Anticipation is basically to making sure that you always think about when and where your app might get used. So that's something you should definitely always think about. And they want us to think of this whole thing as a conversation. So if you think of it as a conversation, you also think about basically how you treat people, and treat your users as like your friends or some people you know. And they have brought up examples like from the watch, for example, which always knows, like, well, the watch knows a bit of context, right? For example, if you're on a walk, it knows you're on a walk, and it can, based on the context, talk to you differently and be shorter when you don't have time because you're doing sports or something like that, and give you more details if you're like at home because you have finished something. What else do we have? Develop your voice. Yeah, you should also think about your wording and how you approach your users. For example, in a moment, for a feature that what was their example, that is shown in a situation where you don't feel good, it looks like you've taken a hard fall. They're trying to provide a calm language, for example. Then don't try to be funny in that moment. So think about the context, and that's what anticipation basically is about. But they also have context as its own thing. And here they're saying think outside the app. That's about are your users likely to be home or in an airport? That's I think I was putting together anticipation and context as one thing. So I already covered this. Then they also said write helpful alerts. So don't use things like yes and no as options, and be very specific. And this is a really bad example, for example, where you have oops. This is already something that you shouldn't use if possible. You have sorry, you have please, and things like that. Yeah, those things you shouldn't do if possible. Create useful empty states. Of course, empty states are always great, and you should always think about them and make sure that they have an appropriate tone and they also are helpful. And lastly, they went on to talk about empathy. You should write for everyone, be responsive to localization, and design for accessibility. So make sure that your texts are wide enough, that you provide descriptive information, that you support voiceover, that you support dynamic type. I think these are things that you should definitely consider. This is not specifically only about wording, but it includes wording. For example, they showed a calendar where each day can have an abbreviation of just one letter in English, but in other languages might be longer. And that's what they went on to talk about there. And the last tip, I think this is really important, and I will consider doing this more, is read your writing out loud. So if you have a screen and you have a design, if you want to just test if that makes sense or not, just read it out loud and look if that sounds natural, if that's what you want your app to feel like. And that's about my summary for this session. I think you should definitely watch it if you're interested in like their examples. I can't summarize them all. They always had like bad and good examples. So I think that definitely is worth to watch. Even if you just skim through and just see they always put a gray X if it's a bad example and a green check mark if it's a good one. So definitely check out and look out for these. And that's about it from my side for WWDC week. This was my last session that I wanted to cover for this week. Of course, I'm going to watch more sessions. You can see I have a lot of more upcoming ones that I want to watch. And also, this is maybe interesting to say, it's WWDC doesn't mean you have to watch every session in the first week, and you can't even watch everything. Even if you tried, there are too many, you just can't watch them all. And it's normal to watch them over time, so don't stress yourself too much. That's also why my videos are available on YouTube. You can watch them anytime as a watch along, and if you are watching it as a watch along, make sure to like this video and don't forget to subscribe. I'm going to have much more content also later, and I'm preparing some cool stuff, so watch out for that. But probably nothing about WWDC anymore. So I hope you all had a great WWDC week. And thank you for everybody who has joined me on Twitch Live. And I'm really hoping that we can all learn a lot from WWDC, and we can also all use all the new features. And I really liked all the features, and I'm really looking forward to use them all. And I still have a lot of things to watch to learn about more of them, and I'm really looking forward to see them. But I will probably provide also notes for them. Just watch out on wwdcnotes.com. Don't forget that website. That's where I'm also posting all these notes that I'm adding here. You can already find some of my notes here. For example, what's new in Swift UI. I think that was one of the ones I have provided. Where is it? It's not in the latest, but you can find it. For example, what's new in Xcode. That's basically what we have wrote together in here in this live streams. And make sure to have an eye on this, because you will find all my notes, also the ones that I'm going to create in the future here. And that's it from my side. So thank you very much. And I'm going to stop streaming now. So have a nice WWDC. I hope you had one, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Bye.